just some repositioning going on. He turned around his Juggernaut Rider to face my Pegasus Knights. This is the magic phase before combat has begun, and there was a miscast by his level 2. He was trying to cast it on my general's unit. I don't know what he was trying to cast, but yeah, he miscast and blew up, and he killed only one questing knight, but killed like 2 rows worth of his own marauders. So that was pretty awesome, pretty encouraging, and killed the wizard himself. Then when we get to the actual fighting, take a look at this dice roll here down in the corner. That's my armor save. I need a 3-up with these guys to save, I think it was. And I roll all but 1 as 1 and 2s. And of course, I think it was strength 4 with the Marauders. They might have been buffed or something, I don't remember. And of course, none of them roll a 6 for their ward save, of course. So the long distance charging Chaos Marauders did very well. The Questing Knights did very poorly, and it didn't turn out well for me. Yeah, they got run down also. Or maybe they ran off the board. One of the two, I don't remember. Either way, they're dead. So at this point in the game, I'm thinking to myself, alright, my men-at-arms are dead, my knights errant are dead, my questing knights are dead, all 3 of my magic users are dead, my BSB's dead, the Knights of the Realm my BSB was with are dead. This game is just not working out for me. So at this point, I'm operating in total desperation mode. Now, this is an old picture. I'm not showing you a picture here that's current because remember the Questing Knights are dead. The Marauders on foot are all further forward and only about half as many. But the only reason I'm showing you this is to see the prior location of my General's unit with the Knights of the Realm. Since I am in desperation mode, I'm going to try a frontal charge on his General and the Chaos Warriors, which I know is, most of the time a suicide mission. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm going to just give it a shot, see what happens. And the Pegasus Knights at the top have just enough room to go over the Juggernaut Rider and rear charge the, I think I said Chaos Knights, but of course what I meant was Chaos Warriors. Oh, there. Look at the direction I'm charging. And then the Trebuchet manages to do another very powerful 2 wounds on his Marauders on foot. So, yeah, the Trebuchet hasn't done diddly so far this game. Alright, and here's where I missed a very important picture. Unfortunately, I did not take an actual picture of the battle, my general versus his general. What happened is exactly what I thought. The Pegasus Knights came in the rear, my general's unit came in the front. He held. There was a challenge issue that ended up being my general versus his general. Now, in hindsight, my general set up kind of as a rank and file killer with re-rolling hits and wounds and weapon skill always 10. And trying to get rid of their steadfast probably would have been more important. I accepted the challenge of his general, but I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have had my champion accept. But as it turns out, I got very lucky. I did not kill his general outright. I think I did 2 wounds. I killed just enough warriors to remove their steadfast. I mean, whatever it was, I don't remember, but I had to have this many, and that's the exact number I got. Basically, took the last rank from 5 down to 4, so he lost steadfast, which was just incredibly lucky. My rolling was awesome. His rolling was not that great. He failed his break test, and I actually ran him down with both units. The Pegasus kind of looks like in this picture, but they did not have an angle where they would hit the Juggernaut Rider. One rules question that we were kind of wondering about, you can see I lined a laser level up with the left edge of my knights there for their overrun path. Based on my roll for pursuing, if you're measuring from the nearest corner of the Juggernaut to the nearest corner of my knights, they would have come into contact with him. But if you're following a perfectly straight line, they would just barely nick the front corner. And if you're following that distance, not the nearest corner to nearest corner, but the straight line distance, they were just like 1/8 of an inch short. So we assumed the correct way to play that is since they're charging in a straight line to measure from the point of intersection, and since they didn't make it, I stopped them an inch along that same path before they came into contact with the Juggernaut Rider. If anyone thinks we did that wrong or has a different suggestion, please let me know. Sorry to spend so much time on this one slide, but it was very important. Alright, then Warriors of Chaos turn 4. It goes pretty fast from here. His Juggernaut Rider charges as the Pegasus Knights in the rear. They don't have anywhere to go, so they hold. He's turned around just because the model fits better that way. And by the way, sometimes you'll notice I take one of the Pegasus off of his base and set him off to the side. It's just more convenient that way with the new ranking up rules, especially. It's really inconvenient. So always go off where his base is, not where the actual model is. The Hell Cannon fires a shot. The shot comes over here and hits my general's unit, kills 3 guys, and because it has that rule where if you land a hit, you have to take a panic test with -1 leadership, they just barely fail that test. So now, again, now I'm like, oh great, my general's unit is fleeing towards the table edge over there, so hopefully they can rally next turn. In the combat, the Juggernaut Rider does more wounds, kills 1, wounds a second one, pursues, and rolls 1 inch too short. So I actually had a pretty ideal roll, far enough to get out of his pursuit, but not so far as to go off the table. So I got lucky there as well. Oh, there's the direction of pursuit. Alright, so Bretonnia turn 4. I've got a couple rally checks to make. My general's unit rallies, and the Pegasus Knights rally. So I guess apparently I'm having that little ribbon represent rallying. My opponent's just measuring just to see how close my guys are. I'm not charging or anything like that. That was the only thing I had to do because those are my only 2 units left, except for the Trebuchet. In Warriors of Chaos turn 5, oh, we have a misfire on the Hell Cannon. So it was the bad kind too, the kind where everything gets destroyed. So that was kind of sweet. Seems like the way luck is going here, he had all the luck at the beginning of the game, and I'm having all the luck here at the end of the game. So this is really turning around. Alright, so now Bretonian turn 5. So what happens is and keep in mind, at this point in the game, everything on the board that you see is all that's left in the game, except my trebuchets off on the far right. My general's unit, which had rallied last turn, declares a charge on his marauders here. He decides discretion's the better part of valor and flees with them. I decide to redirect into the trolls who are now facing me because I think, well, with this charge I can also get the Sorry, that probably got cut off. I can also get the Pegasus Knights in, which I did. The battle goes pretty well for me. I kill quite a few, win the battle, and then run them down too. So that was great. The general's unit actually gets out ahead of the Pegasus Knights, the way it works out there. So this is the end of Bretonnia's 5 turn. And then the last turn for Warriors of Chaos. Here, what he does is his War Shrine charges my Pegasus Knights. They're down to 3 wounds total, so they decide to flee. Then he redirects the charge into my general's unit, the Knights of the Realm there, and does make it in. I hold there. And also the Marauders down at the bottom rally. In the ensuing combat, I put 2 wounds on the War Shrine. I think he puts none on me, but he rolls just enough to hold. So the game's kind of winding down at this point. Last turn of the game, Bretonnia turns 6. Just ignore that model in the bottom left-hand corner. He's not really there. He's a dead guy. There's only a couple things to do. Got my trebuchet. It fired and missed. The Pegasus Knights rally. Remember, it's the last turn of the game, so that Juggernaut rider's not going to do anything at all. In the battle between my general's unit and the war shrine, I think I do one more wound on it, and this time it fails its break test and gets run down. So, like I said, things are really turning around for me. So, that was the very end of the game, and this was a really bloody game. I mean, what you see on the board is literally all that's alive. Most of the big stuff is just completely dead. Um, when we added up points, I was really surprised. The way it turns out is I actually won with the Bretonians by just a little under 300 points. The cutoff for calling it a victory is 200 points, I think it says, and I had 295. So victory to the Bretonians, just barely, which, after the way the game started, I found hard to believe. So it was really a lot of fun. Great to do my first 8th edition battle report. Please post any comments on the blog or on YouTube as to what you thought of it, whether you liked the visual effects, whether you liked the slide transitions, or if you thought they were terrible. I won't be offended, I promise. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll have another one soon. Thanks.